Hello everyone, in this short we're going to talk about what Terraform is, how you can use it, and what benefits it provides. Now if you go to HashiCorp's website for Terraform, you'll see that they describe Terraform as an infrastructure as code tool. And that's kind of a little buzzwordy, so I want to unpack that a little bit more and say that Terraform is a stateful wrapper around CRUD APIs. CRUD APIs being create, read, update, and delete. Now, any infrastructure provider has an API that you can use to interact with, to create, read, update, and delete resources. And that's what Terraform does. It wraps that API and it communicates with those infrastructure providers. Now, if you had to create infrastructure in your career or just in passing, you would probably go to an infrastructure provider. You would go to their website, go to their user interface, and you would start creating infrastructure, right? Here I'm creating a virtual machine, and I'd have to pick the region and the operating system and the CPU and RAM and maybe add some SSH keys, and I'd create infrastructure by clicking around the UI. Now, there's nothing really wrong doing this, but this doesn't really scale well. It's not really reliable, and like you can just, there's a lot of error ability to have errors here, right? So Terraform takes this idea and you can now define a configuration that will manage real infrastructure. So instead of me clicking in the UI to create an SSH key or a VM, I can define that infrastructure in this configuration file and say like, hey, give me this SSH key and give me this droplet. If you do that and you tell Terraform to apply this infrastructure, Terraform will read your configuration and it'll see that those pieces of infrastructure, they don't exist. It'll reach out to DigitalOcean and it'll start creating that infrastructure for you. Now you'll notice that Terraform has already created my SSH key and it's in the middle of creating my droplet. So if I go back to the DigitalOcean UI, you'll see that the droplet is being created by Terraform. Now, Terraform operates on a declarative model, meaning that you declare the end state that you want your infrastructure to be in, and Terraform works to make that a reality. If I were to apply the configuration again, like just to demonstrate the declarative aspect, if I apply this configuration again, Terraform will say, oh, I've already made this configuration. There's nothing for me to do. And let's say you had some engineer that didn't know any better and they went into the UI and they modified your infrastructure live and they changed something. Well, Terraform can also help with that, because now if reality changes and you rerun Terraform, you'll see that Terraform will reach out to the API. I had to wait for that API to fully update, but Terraform will see that change. It'll detect. It'll say, hey, reality has changed. Your configuration wants one thing, reality is another. I will work to make your defined configuration a reality. So that's that declarative model that Terraform follows, right? So if I hit yes here, it'll modify the droplet and it'll bring it back to what I defined in my configuration. So to recap here, Terraform is a stateful wrapper around CRUD APIs, and we like to call that in the field as infrastructure as code, although I personally think that's a little buzzwordy. And the way Terraform works is it's declarative, right? You declare the end state that you want your infrastructure to be in, and Terraform will work hard to make that a reality. I hope you enjoyed this short, and I will see you in the next one.